Hey there, folks. I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince. Welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. And welcome to the finale of my Halloween marathon of 2015. Now, for the past few weeks of this month, we went from a 5-star resort for monsters to a haunted underwater schoolhouse to the Black Sheep of Disney to a film that tributes to R.L. Stein's famous book franchise to a haunted lighthouse. So, what do I have in mind to wrap things up? Well, let's talk about Scooby-Doo. I know I did previously mention the first 2 live-action Scooby-Doo films on my top 25 Halloween films and my top 13 bad films that I like lists. But that's not where my love of Scooby-Doo started. As I said a while back, I loved watching Scooby-Doo as a kid. But before I ever watched the show on Cartoon Network or on any other TV channels, I was first introduced to Scooby by watching a few of the old films, like Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, Scooby-Doo Meets the Boo Brothers, and Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. Those films I thought were really funny. And say what you will about Scrappy-Doo being in them, because I wasn't one of those Scrappy-Doo haters. But then in the late 90s, there came 3 other Scooby-Doo films that were really fun as well. For example, there was Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, which was thrilling. Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders was fun and groovy. Now, what about the third one? Does it still hold up after all these years? Well, let's find out. Released a video and DVD on October 5th, 1999. The movie is Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. So, let's get started, gang. The Mystery Inc. gang traveled to a New English town called Oakhaven after being invited by a horror writer named Ben Ravencroft. But soon they find that the ghost of Ben's ancestor is haunting the town. And that's basically the whole plot. So, what are my thoughts on this movie? Well, let me just say that this film was wickedly fun. In other words, I should announce that this movie is my favorite animated Scooby-Doo film of all time. But in order to explain more, let's move on to Mustang notes, shall we? This movie was produced by Warner Brothers Animation, although with a Hanna-Barbera Cartoons Incorporated copyright, starting in 1998. It is the second of the first 4 Scooby-Doo direct-to-video films to be animated overseas by Japanese animation studio Mook Animation. On September 14th, 1999, the soundtrack was released featuring the Hex Girls performing Hex Girl and Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air. Also, they had Billy Ray Cyrus, Miley Cyrus's father, performing the theme song Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Also, like a number of direct-to-video Scooby-Doo animated films released in the late 90s and early 2000s, The Witch's Ghost features real ghosts instead of, simple bad guys in masks, giving the film a much darker tone. I especially love how Oakhaven looks in this film. Yes. Now, I know I've never been to the New English region of the U.S., even though I did pass through Massachusetts by taking a train from New York City to Washington, D.C. back in 2005. But anyway, the way they captured the 1600s time era was spot on. Not just with the buildings, but also with everyone's outfits and other things like butter churns and cornfield dolls. I also like how they explain about witches and where the word came from, which is in fact Wiccan. Well, anyway, now that we got Mustang notes out of the way, let's move on to the cast. First we have Scooby-Doo and Shaggy Rogers, who are both voiced by Scott Enos, who after this film voiced Scrappy-Doo in the live-action Scooby-Doo film. Now, while Casey Kasem was still alive at the time, I guess he just wanted a break from being Shaggy. But despite that, Scott does a great job voicing as these two goofballs who get scared out of their wits and love to eat. The rest of Mystery Inc. are as follows. Fred Jones, voiced by veteran voice actor Frank Welker. Daphne Blake, voiced by the late Mary Kay Bergman. And Velma Dinkley, voiced by B.J. Ward, whom I remember as a grumpy toy bird named Grumbella in The Little Engine That Could. Now, these guys are still as lovable and memorable as they are in the show. Fred is still the same cool leader, Daphne is the same lovely member of the team, and Velma is always the smart girl. Next we come to the Hex Girls. Sally Thorne McKnight, voiced by Jennifer Hale, known for various voice roles like the two Cinderella sequels, the Powerpuff Girls, and Sophia the First. Dusk, voiced by Jane Wiltlin, best known as the rhythm guitarist and backup vocalist on the Go-Go's, and Luna, voiced by Kimberly Brooks. I consider this eco-gothic rock band the best characters in the movie, not just because of their songs, but because of their creepy style. But in my eyes, Thorne gets the most development out of the three, because she's 1/16th Wiccan, and she serves a very important part in this film, too. Next is Thorne's father, Mr. McKnight, voiced by Peter Renaday. Normally, he serves as the Oak Haven pharmacist, but at night, he's disguised as the witch's ghost. He uses a cherry picker truck with an extension cord to give off the illusion of flight, and he used flash powder as fireballs. When the Mystery Inc. gang catch him, he explains that he and the townsfolk came up with the witch's ghost to bring in tourists, which was good for business. We also have Mayor Corey, voiced by Neil Ross, who was also part of Mr. McKnight's plan. Next up is Ben Ravencroft, a horror novelist voiced by British stage and screen actor Tim Curry. Best known for such films like Annie from 1982, The Rocky Horror Picture Show, Beauty and the Beast and Enchanted Christmas, Ferngully the Last Rainforest, and The Wild Thornberrys. Ben seems to be a decent and intelligent man who showed signs of reciprocating Velma's romantic attraction to him. However, after he used the gang to achieve his goal of finding his ancestors' spellbook, which in my opinion looks scarier than the Necronomicon from the Evil Dead films, he revealed himself to be an evil, manipulative, and sadistic megalomaniac with an ambition of world domination. The last character I need to mention is the ghost of Ben's ancestor, Sarah Ravencroft, voiced by current Daisy Duck voice actress Trez MacNeille, who also voiced Dot Warner on The Animaniacs and Babs Bunny on Tiny Toon Adventures. Now, Sarah has got to be one of the most powerful and terrifying witch Mr. Ink has ever faced. She's even scarier than the Sanderson sisters from Disney's Hocus Pocus. Not only can she speak in Old English, but she's able to do all sorts of terrible feats, like casting darkness, projecting fire, animate objects like pumpkins and trees, even make a monster out of a turkey. And now, let's move on to my final words. Overall, not only is Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost my favorite animated Scooby-Doo film, but it's also one of the most underrated Halloween films ever. The characters are memorable, lovable, and funny, the animation is classic, and the plot is interesting and dark. The songs by the Hex Girls are rockin' fun, and Sarah Ravencroft is wickedly scary. I recommend folks who are fans of Scooby-Doo or fans of Hanna-Barbera to check this movie out and share it with their children during this haunting season. I give this film the highest rating of 100%. Well, that concludes my Halloween 2015 marathon. I hope you guys have enjoyed hearing my thoughts on these films, with the exception of one CD-ROM game, during this haunting season. Be sure to join me in November for my next blog. Mustang Power. Oh, and Happy Halloween.
I'm gonna cast a spell on you. You're gonna do what I want you to. Mix it up here in my little bowl. Say a few words and you lose control. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you. I'm gonna put a spell on you. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you. Put a spell on you. You feel the fog as I cloud your mind.